Spike and cast. My name is Jim. I'm over here. Thank you very much for this film. I'm very glad that you balanced the human sort of relationship with the computer relationship. I was very moved by the difficulty that the humans had in communicating with each other on the most intimate levels. And many of your films have been about intimacy, and particularly men's inability to really be intimate. So I'd like if you could talk a little bit about how you are bringing forward a male character in a very contemporary way that is quite different than what we've seen men on screen before, and the actors, the male and the females on the stage, about how you see in this writing perhaps a more dimensioned, contemporary questioning of what it means to be a man, what it means to be a woman, and what it means to be intimate.
Wow, that's a really good question. I definitely can't live up to that, but thank you for that. And I don't know. One thing I don't know. I don't know if this exactly answers that, but maybe we'll get to a good answer. But I was thinking about one of the things that a conversation that Olivia and I were having when we were rehearsing. It was what you hear when somebody says something to you, and that, like, because there's the scene where Olivia is saying, when am I going to see you again? We were talking about what is she hearing when he says, I'm not sure, I'm busy, I can't, like, and so we were making up all kinds of stories of what she actually hears that gets her to the place where she says, you're a creepy dude. And I think that sort of was sort of inherent in everything we did, is what you're actually hearing when somebody is saying to you something. And it's like, not necessarily hearing exactly what they say, but hearing what you think they mean.
Yeah, and you said something really interesting yesterday about the fact that the artificial intelligence carries no baggage. That's something about Samantha, she's pure, which makes her even more of a kind of ideal, romantically, of course. But the difference between humans and artificial intelligence is baggage. So whereas the blind date carries an enormous amount of pain and baggage and projecting all of that on what Theodore is saying, Samantha is so open-minded and only sees the best and assumes the best. So that's, I guess, a difference between human, I mean, maybe male-female too, but maybe not. Maybe it's human and artificial.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that we were talking about yesterday, and that I talked a lot to Scarlett about, was that Samantha is brand new to the world. So she's like a child that hasn't learned any insecurities, any self-doubts, and that she learns those through the course of the movie. She has these experiences that give her that kind of those kind of painful situations that create those kind of self-doubts, and I think Scarlett was when it was when we were first working on it that we were talking about that, and I think that's when she started to understand how hard that role would be to, like, sort of try and go back to that place where you don't have those kind of fears yet. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know how this exactly rates, but when Amy and I started working together, we were talking a lot about how we're meeting her character at this moment in time where she's been trying to be all of these things to her husband and to everything in her relationship, and then she's like sort of imploding, and she's sort of willfully in this act of.
Well, I don't think it's a male-female thing as far as intimacy, and I think that if Spike's exploring it from a male point of view, it's because he's male. But I don't think being fearful of intimacy or lack of intimacy is specifically male, or that is a failure in men specifically. And there's lots of different reasons. It's hard to just boil it down to one thing. Each person has their own reasons why intimacy is hard. For Amy, and I'm not speaking in third person, I'm speaking of my character. Amy has a hard time with intimacy.
Yes, Spike has a hard time too. Yeah.
No. So because Amy's been pretending to be somebody else and someone she's not, it keeps her from being her true self. And when you're not expressing yourself as your true self, you can never find true intimacy because you're always hiding. And I think that the relationship that she has with Theodore is probably the most intimate in her life because it's the most honest.
Well,
Well, 2 more questions?